どうなんでしょうか。
Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
ウィル・スミスにやられました。
Wow, dude. It was a G.I. Jane joke.
G.I. ジェーンのジョークだったんです。
Gotta say, I don't have too much of a problem with what Will Smith did during the Academy Awards. We've got this cultural rot that's taking place, and it manifests itself in a lot of different ways. Say what you want about Chris Rock. A lot of people think he's funny, a lot of people think he's an idiot. But I think what this one event does prove is that no matter the circumstances, no matter where you sit in life, no matter your station in life, nobody has a right to disrespect you and your wife in front of thousands of people and in front of the viewing audience on television. So, again, say what you want about Will Smith's relationship with his wife. There's a lot of scuttlebutt talk about his open relationship. And we can have an opinion about that, certainly. We can talk about that, certainly. But let's put that in the back seat for a minute and maybe look at it like this. Maybe Will Smith is a guy who's trying to keep his family together. And when somebody openly disrespects him and his wife on national television, maybe he just finally got to the breaking point. Maybe that was the straw that broke the camel's back. And maybe that'll send a message to a lot of people, a lot of us out here in the world, that if historically you were to look back, and I kind of tie this into the theme of this video series, of how things used to be during, in and around and leading up to the formation of our nation. If you had done something like that back in those days, somebody probably would have challenged you to this little thing they used to call a duel, where men took loaded pistols, were back to back, walked out 5 paces, turned about, and on command would fire at each other. That's how seriously they took insults. Because back in those days, the family unit was everything. Your relationship with your significant other was everything. Your reputation, your good name was everything. It meant a lot. And to have it maligned publicly was something that would not be tolerated and shouldn't be tolerated. I mean, I read the comments in all of the video clips that I've seen on this specific incident. And a lot of people said, well, it's assault, it's felony assault. He should take him to court, get him for every penny. Okay, let's calm down on the legal ramifications and look at the social ramification. A man was at an event. He was going to be recognized. He got an Academy Award, I think, Will Smith did. So it was a pretty special occasion for him. Now, again, I've got my opinions on Hollywood and actors and their ideologies. And I'm very open about sharing that opinion. But I can even set it aside for this situation and for this incident and say, in my personal opinion, Will Smith did the right thing. It's a dangerous thing to vote your fear and your ignorance, because you end up with exactly what we're dealing with in the world right now. Just waving to my neighbors that just walked by. And secular idolatry, which you have witnessed in Hollywood certainly, comes at a very steep price. I look at these incidents as not at all insignificant. You know, people like to pan it and say, oh, well, this is just to be forgotten tomorrow. But I would be paying attention to it. Try to find the object lessons within it and try to pull those object lessons out and, study them and see if you can get something from them. Put your personal feelings aside of how you feel about Will Smith or Jada Pinkett Smith or Chris Rock or any number of Hollywood actors, and look at it from the point of view of a man in a relationship, his wife, and the insult. No man would take that publicly, nor should they. You know, part and parcel to this, if we discuss Hollywood, and I don't say these people are unworthy, but when we put these people on a pedestal and elevate them to a level that I believe personally is quite unrealistic, they get to this point where they feel like the rules don't apply to them, or they're different than you and I, or they have special rights and privileges. I watch a lot of this stuff. I'm really into social media quite a bit, as well as the news, as well as events. But I also kind of want to know what's going on in the entertainment business, because it is somewhat of a reflection of our values. There's a lot of good entertainment out there, and there's a lot of terrible entertainment out there. A lot of agenda-laden entertainment. Some of it's subtle, some of it's quite obvious. But you can't put these people on pedestals. They're just people like you and I. Put their pants on one leg at a time. You know all that stuff. You've heard that before. So I think there's a silver lining in all of this. I think there's a silver lining to Will Smith's actions. That it sets a precedent. That if you are in a public setting like that, and someone insults you or your wife, you have a right to at least stand up for yourself and say something about it. Maybe not physically haul off and open hand slap somebody. But I think we're focusing on the wrong thing. The whole idea of this felony assault. Well, technically, yeah, I guess it would be a felony assault. But I look at it as a guy defending his wife's honor. I know, that's probably not a thing these days. Sounds very old-fashioned, you know, the old slapping of the leather gloves and challenging the other, you know, that kind of thing, right? But I don't think it's old-fashioned at all. I just think we've forgotten about it. I think we've moved away from some of the basic core fundamental principles. You can always find multiple object lessons in somebody else's bad behaviors, or even in our own bad behaviors. And we all have them. And we all have to learn from them at some point. Again, we all put our pants on one leg at a time, every single one of us. We're all equal in the eyes of God. Remember that. At the strategic level, marking time. My personal feeling is that there is quite a large secular progressive movement across the globe. But I think it's being stalled. That's the sense I'm getting. I think people are seeing just truly how bad this current administration at the federal level is, and how bad the administrations at the state levels are that are of leftist leanings, the blue states. Having that buyer's remorse. Some people aren't going to have the buyer's remorse whatsoever. Some people are all about this, the true fascists, if you will. I mean, let's call them what they are. Down at the operational level, here in the States, here within our borders, I think they're panic-stricken. That's why there is this lashing out. I mean, I don't know Will Smith's politics, but if I had to venture a guess, I would say he's probably not conservative. He's probably not a constitutionalist, although he benefits from the very system that he probably is against. But that's fine. And there's plenty of people like him, certainly in Hollywood and certainly everywhere. And they seem to be in a panic, because they seem to have quite an agitation against Donald Trump still. How long has Trump been out of office? A couple of years now? Or a year, something like that. Yet they still put a lot of focus on him for some reason. Why do you think that is? A little bit of a rhetorical question, because I think people inherently understand that this current administration came about fraudulently. Down at the tactical level, stand tall. Stand tall. Stand proud. Stand confident. Knowing that you and I are on the tactical and moral high ground. And spiritual high ground as well. And there are people that want to take you off of it. They want to get you down on their level. And you can't sink to their level. Did Will Smith sink down to Chris Rock's level? I don't even think Chris Rock saw it coming, personally. A lot of people think it's fake. Referring, of course, back to the incident I was talking about at the top of this video. It didn't look fake to me. It didn't sound fake to me. In that awkward pause in between, as Will Smith was exiting the stage and sitting down, there was a little bit of dialogue going on with Chris Rock that didn't sound quite as rehearsed. And then Will Smith said some things that were pretty aggressive. And then that was the point where things became real quiet in that theater. So no, I don't think it was fake at all. I think Will Smith just finally had a moment where he broke and had enough. Moment of desperation, possibly. I don't know. Maybe. But hopefully he got to the point where he realized that the relationship that he's had with his wife was flawed and imperfect, and that there is a need to repair it. Let's hope that happens. It's good for you and I to do this kind of introspection in our lives. And I know that's not an easy pill to swallow all the time. It's kind of fun to point out the flaws in everybody else's lives, because then it allows us to take the focus off of our own problems. But if we're working on ourselves, trying to make ourselves better, trying to encourage people around us, then that's a good thing. If we're trying to get people into lockstep allegiance with our ideology, like the left repeatedly does, then that's a bad thing. And we're going to continue to talk about it, and we are going to continue to hold them accountable.